This is Toxic Treatment on Normal and Hard. So this quest is probably the most difficult level 14 quest in terms of just straight up difficulty. It'd be one that if we were kind of borderline to do something on Reaper or Hard, we'd probably do, Reaper or Elite, we'd do it on Elite instead of Reaper. Although because of the just because of the funny way that Reaper works, we won't be able to run this on Reaper anyways because we're going to hit 20 possibly after this first quest, but for sure after the hard run. And so I'm gonna, even if I hit 20 in the middle, I'm just gonna do both runs and then take 20. Um, but basically both of these quests, or both of the,
You arrive at the outskirts of the
once we hit
Drought
20, we can only run things below 20 on Elite. We can't run it on Reaper anymore. They have a Reaper kind of a level lockout. Because at 20, it won't be true for us because we're on our first, life and we haven't built anything up. But if you already have a really developed character, you have a lot of things that you get at 20, such as Epic Destinies, which adds a lot of power. So they just felt it was unfair to give people Reaper experience for heroic quests once you get your epic levels. But there's a lot of 15 to 19 quests, just an absolute ton. So one of the problems that players have is that they get to okay, so you get to this encampment here, and there's three things that you have to do, three elders. Each elder, I'm going to start on the left, or south, kind of southeast if you're looking on the map, but left from where we entered, and talk to the first elder, El Rashal. He gives us like a puzzle one. So I'm just going to show you all the three elders first. This is the other path, but the elder's kind of hidden behind here. So we'll talk to him.
The Scorro Elder asks you to find 5 luminous mushrooms in the jungle to the southeast.
So that one I find to be a bit not difficult, but sometimes frustrating because you lose the vision is kind of funny. And then this one is sort of a cave where you fight a lot of things right in there.
Complete the warrior's trial. Apparently, it starts in the cavern to the west.
So I'm going to start with this puzzle and kind of work my way around. And so we have this barrier, and then to the left we have another barrier with 2 crystals, and then on each side is a concentration puzzle. And we've done these before, and basically the way they work is that when you pull the lever, you get three runes that light up. You have to light them in the same order that you see them flash, then 4, then 5. If you ever are not seeing them all, it's because sometimes if there's just a slight glitch in your network connectivity, you might not see them all, and you'll have to, if that happens, no big deal. You just pull the lever and start again. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Alright, so that's lit up, so we're done with this side, and now we just need to light up the other side. right, now this one's lit up. So once this is lit up, you get into this room. And when you get in this room, there's sort of various stages of it being lit or not lit. It's easiest when it's like all unlit, but it's still fine. And so there's a lever there that kind of tempts you. Don't pull the lever. The lever is going to help you solve. It's actually going to make it even harder. So what you want to do here, I'm going to put my hardling on the ground, is you solve it up and down. So think of this as the top, right? And then so you see the second one's unlit, so you press on that second one, right? You might have to do that a couple times. So now the first, whoops, let me fix that. So now the top row, so now we're going to do the same with the second row. Okay, done, right? So now we're going to do the same with this row. And done. So now we're going to again say this is the top, and we're going to solve it down again. So you just keep doing that until it solves, and it will eventually solve. So you just basically, light all the ones above it, and then it might take a few times, but it will eventually solve. So let's go do this. And then when you see this pattern, right, so you do this and it solves.
As the last piece clicks into place, the barrier blocking the tunnel fades.
And that's true of the shroud. If you run the shroud raid, there's puzzles in there. They work the same way. You could solve them logically up or down for the 3x3 and 4x4s. The 5x5s, that won't always work, and you'll have to get a solver. You'll have to look it up online. There are these things called solvers you could look up online to do. But for the 3x3 and 4x4s, or well, for sure this one you could always do it, and then in shroud the 3x3 and 4x4s, you could always solve logically that way without a solver. Just up, down, up, until you get it resolved. All right, so then we solve the puzzle, the barrier open. Now we just go through and we fight
the jungle floor rumbles
the shambling mound.
A massive shambling
and shambling mounds, in general, you want to attack them as quick as possible because their thing is they spawn enemies or do damage.
Shambling mound has been destroyed.
When they're not damaged fast enough. I think in this case, I don't know if this shambling mound has any of those kind of abilities. I think it just is a big pile of hit points you have to beat down. All right, so then if you have DDO, you could DDO back. I almost find it a little easier to DDO back than to backtrack, but I don't have DDO, so I'm just going to backtrack. And then we don't want to forget we have to talk to this elder.
You have found favor with the second elder.
So that one's done. So now we do this. We already talked to all the elders. So now we just go down this mushroom path, and unfortunately you get things that kind of obstruct your vision. All right, so just keep hitting the Q button. Right, looking for mushrooms.
Deep rumbling growl can be heard drifting through the thick jungle.
And you're gonna have a little bit of a fight. Pretty small on normal. You have to jump. This guy's a little bit too high. All right, so you can see I found a luminous mushroom. And that'll help you find them because you just kind of look around the corners, and when you use the Q button, they're lit up. So we just click on that. We have to find 5 of them. And again, I'm just going to go take the rule of following a left. Right, so we have multiple paths here. Always just take the left path. I guess you can grab that one real quick since we see it. Oops, out of range. And then kind of go back where we were and follow the left path. So I never pass up them when I see them. And then just keep going, and then if you get a choice of direction, which we don't here, we're at a dead end, then you just keep going left. And so Alright, so there's a bear trap apparently I missed. And now we'll take this path, which we haven't done yet. And yeah, I mean the only thing I don't mind this. It's not super interesting to me, like going around finding mushrooms. But the only thing I don't like about it is that you get these, things obstructing your vision. It almost makes you kind of feel like a little dizzy or something. So like this, it just kind of gets in your way. So I find that to be sort of annoying and not really a challenge. Just like this, just flat up annoying. But I don't know if there's a way. I have not found a way to prevent that. All right, so now we found this guy.
The massive pet falls with a final defiant
And so
roar.
I just kind of keep walking around hitting the Q button. There's a mushroom. That's our, let's see, look at this bear trap. That's a dead end there. So that's 3. We have 2 more, and then there's 4. And so if you just keep kind of following the left path, you'll get to it. So eventually. And again, if you just go visually in, you're very likely to miss one if you don't use the Q button. See, there's the last one. So that's 5. And so we've got them all.
Collected all the luminous mushrooms for the village. Time to deliver them to the elder.
And I really find the view obstruction annoying, but that might just be a personal annoyance that doesn't bother other people as much. But nonetheless, if we just do the okay, is that the dead end or is that the dead end? I think this. Let's just check our map too. Yeah, we're going the right way. I just want to make sure we're making progress towards where we're going. But see, yeah, this kind of stuff, it's like I just, I'm not a big fan of it because I can't see where I'm going. Oh, and I just got turned around. So we want to go this way and this way. Nope. All right. So I think I need to go this way here. Yeah, the map in these type of areas are a little harder to follow. Like you might feel like you're going in the right direction, but there's actually 2 overlapping paths or nearly overlapping paths, but it overlaps on the map as one path. Not a big deal. So like I said, somebody was kind of really complaining about this quest, and I sort of agreed with them on the obstruction of view thing here, but I would never probably complain about it on the forums. I think it's actually a fun quest overall. I just don't care for that part. All right, so now we talked to this elder already. We're going to go to this cave to do our 3rd section. And we just, we're going to fight a bunch of scorpions and drow. This one I think you may not need to fight, but at some point it does, like, they do attack you, so I just, when I see them one-on-one, I fight them. Alright, puddings. So let me get my ooze weapon. right, and so you could use the same sort of left. I usually sort of just on this one take the approach that I clear a section whenever kind of I'm going forward, and then I clear a section before I move forward. So I'm just going to get this section cleared, and in addition to just the normal clearing here, we're looking for some Umber Hulks in these paths. So we have to get all the Umber Hulks, that's our objective, and then the lever, right? So by default, if you do those things, you pass the Warrior's Trial. So that's not really anything you have to focus on, just it's those two objectives, the Umber Hulks. But they could be anywhere. They're in a random location, so you pretty much have to check every passage. So that's why I'm always constantly saying, okay, this is a dead end. Let me just get this dead end here first. And you have to kind of walk to the end because they sometimes don't spawn until you do that. All right, and I guess I'll get this section first.
The ground rumbles, and an Umber Hulk bursts through
All
the
right,
cave
so there's
floor.
our Umber Hulk. And they have a stun that can be pretty tough. We have good saves, so I think we're pretty good against stuns. Whoops, I got the wrong weapon on, I think. Nope, I don't. That's weird. I thought I must have split them with my sword. Because normally when you're using a staff, you shouldn't split the uses. It should only split when using a sword, like a piercing or slashing weapon. All right, so this, again, you might come here and look up and say, see a shrine and say, oh, I don't need a shrine, turn around. But this is where the lever is, so you have to pull this lever.
The lever is pulled.
Now we just have to get the Umber Hulks.
Blocking the temple entrance opens.
Kind of looking at the map, you just kind of come across this going through all the paths. And then you have to check this little alcove because the Umber Hulk could be here, and
you get an uneasy
and just like that. So you don't see him until he actually gets closer. Oh, Fragrant Drowsewood, nice. I'm getting quite a few of those lately, and I've got 2 lightning split sorewoods, so that's another rare collectible that I forget how many it takes, but there's in the Stone of Change, there's something you could do to, let's see, all right, well. All right, so I'm just going to continue to check all the side passages as I go down the path. Good place for fire resist, I suspect. Well, my Holy Retribution worked on them, so they're definitely evil drow. And then I'm kind of like, viewing this path from the start as a continuous path forward, and so I'm just checking these side passages.
Umber Hulk erupts from the wall.
Oh, there we go. So that's our 3rd of 5. We need 2 more after this. And it hasn't stunned me. I don't know if that's because I'm making my save. I'll have to check the combat log maybe to see if they're trying and I'm making my save, or if they're just not doing it on this difficulty. Because that's a pretty, the stun is a pretty deadly, lethal part of their attack. All right, so not here. Again, you have to kind of walk in just like all of them and explore the cavern fully to know whether or not they're there. Yeah, so one of the things I really appreciate, like this part and this quest in general, is just how much thought, how much time they put into it to make it so that these Umber Hulks could be anywhere instead of being in the same locations every time. Alright, I'm going to go this way now. So normally puddings don't split with a blunt weapon, but this pudding is splitting with a blunt weapon. I'll have to investigate that further because I've always.
You hear an
All right, here we go.
sound coming from the chamber ahead.
That's our 4th Umber Hulk. We just have one more now. Shoot it. All right. I don't think there could be 2 in that cave, but just so I don't have to backtrack, I want to make sure and check the whole cave. And we're almost done exploring it now, so, but that's how it works, is pretty much you end up exploring this entire cave. At most, maybe like 1 or 2 passages you end up not hitting. Or 1 or 2 like little alcoves. Alright, so the map, I'm just going to keep going sort of the forward path now. And once we get the Umber Hulks, we can, there it is, we can stop at that point. Of course, these people spotted me. Using my bow and the salamander so I don't aggro anything else in that area. Since we're done with the objective now, we just have to return to him and then we pass the trial. So now we just go back the way we came, which I usually use the map for because there's a lot of passages. And so then we go to the end fight. That's kind of where I really disagree with the person that was posted on the forums. I think that part's really well done, and yes, it is very hard, but it's okay to have some quests like that with some hard parts. The great thing about this game is that you could always adjust the difficulty, and so that's what I would do. Is if I found something too difficult, I would just turn it down a notch. If I'm doing Reaper 1, then I might turn it down to Elite. If I'm doing Reaper 3, I might turn it down to Reaper 1.
Grants you his favor. You've earned the favor of the village elders.
Now we can get through this
gate.
gate.
The guard to open the way to Volkur's temple. It lies to the southwest of the village. The smell of smoke fills the air.
And so this is just like a courtyard area in front of the cave we're gonna enter. I don't think you really have to clear it. You could probably just go right in, but I usually just clear it. It doesn't take that long. And this is a very tough end fight. This is probably the toughest level 14 end fights, and one of the toughest end fights, in this entire level range. Alright, so we have this guy, and then we have these eye horse. We want to get these, we want to make sure we get these, these eyes before they can do a lot of damage fast, so you want to make sure you cleave them. So that's an advantage of this, of being a melee versus some of the other classes. Okay, once you get that message, you're going to get like some eyes, and you want to get them. So don't worry about the boss, clear the... some people will say just keep everything on the boss. I think when soloing, that's just a crazy approach. You want to kill all the things you can, and use these pillars as a place to hide behind. And then back away from the explosion as quick as you can there. Alright. Alright, so there's some stateful. Fateful Stare. Alright, so let's see if there's any more eyes I'm missing. I think we got them all. But that's my approach on all difficulties. Just go ahead and take care of all that stuff as it comes up. So I got a very helpful underwater breathing from the Chaos Orb. Alright, now I'm going to go clear eyes again. You can see how much damage these eyes do. Clear them right away, and then use the pillars as your defense. So, kind of protect you from the eyes and also protect you from the beholder. And let me get my hireling here, because I don't know where my hireling was, but not here. Let me get a few spell points. Not getting any heals from my hire, but I'm able to heal myself fine. Alright, so let me, I'll remember that for hard and elite. Let me see, are there any eyes? Where's the other eyes? There's some eyes. They're sometimes hard to see. Alright, so once the eyes are down, then we just all our aggro on the boss. And that's it.
One last time and crashes to the floor. You are now free to claim your prize. A treatment for the madness.
And so there's a really good Falchion in here, which we won't use. It's not a favorite weapon for us. We'll use the greatsword, but it's really good. So I won't be able to open the chest until this, whatever it is. Let's see, Flesh Seer is finished in a few seconds. There we go. All right, and that's. I'm gonna recall out and then go right back in on hard. So. This is a really great quest. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. But don't worry too much about the beholder fight. I think just use those pillars as make sure you get the eyes when they spawn, and then use the pillars as a defense mechanism, and it'll be fine. All right, let's see what we have here. I'm just going to grab something to break down for essences and go right back in on hard.
You arrive at the outskirts of the Drow settlement after a long trek through the jungle. Now to see if you can convince this wary tribe to part with Fulkur's gift. The Drow guard looks you up and down, then motions you over. The guard tells you that the Drow temple is normally forbidden to outsiders. If you want to get inside, you'll need to seek the favor of the 3 Scarrow elders of the village.
And the first time I wanted to show you the 3 elders, so I talked to them all first. This time I'm just going to do talk to the elder, do a section, talk to the next elder, do that section.
The skeptical Scarrow elder says you must pass the Hunter's Trial, which starts in the cave to the east. Alright, that's 1 down. Get the other side.
and that's this side. So, and then as a reminder, never pull the lever in here. Just solve it up and down. So that's what I'm going to do. I mean, actually, it seems like it might be the same as last time. Looks very similar anyways. Oops, I messed my hireling's stepping on it too. So let me get my hireling here and have them stand in place. Actually, it's different now. That might be because my hireling was stepping on things. Now it looks very similar. All right. So we solved it, down. Now we solve it up. And I could take, let's see, yep, gotta do this. All right. Could take a few times. It was 2 times last time, but it could potentially take more. All right, now we should just be able to get these corners, and that should solve it. So,
as the last piece clicks into place, the barrier blocking the tunnel fades.
So it usually should solve itself in 1 or 2. It might very rarely take 3, but I'm pretty sure a maximum of 3.
The jungle floor rumbles to life as a massive, shambling mound rises from back. The shambling mound has been destroyed. You can return to the village elder and boast that you've completed the hunter's trial. You have found favor with the second elder.
All right, so now we'll do the mushroom path next.
The Scorrow Elder asks you to find 5 luminous mushrooms.
Much easier if you use the Q button to find the mushrooms, at least for me. I really prefer that. And they're in random locations, so they're not going to necessarily be in the same place I found them last time. But I think there are certain spots, and if you memorize all those spots, they'll always be in, 5 of the spots. I don't have them all memorized, but I know this one to the left is one of the spots they could be in, and here it is there. All right, and so we're just going to continue to use the Q button and follow left. Last time there was one here, but not this time. Not there. All right, well, we're not finding them as quick this time, but I mean, I think we found the last one kind of near the end, so I don't think it'll take much longer, even though we're starting off to a bit of a slower start. There's one up there. Yeah, and typically they're at the end of these passages that dead end. That's pretty much where most of them are, and there's this one that's not, but most of them are that way. So it says just one left, so I must have 4. Let's see. So now we're probably ahead of where we were last time at this point, because we haven't even. Oh, there's the last one, and we didn't even hit the cat. There he
You've
is. Might as
collected
well.
all the luminous mushrooms for the village. Time to deliver them to the elder. The massive cat falls with a final defiant roar.
Pick this fungus up while I'm here. So you kind of miss this passageway here because your view gets obstructed by all the shrubbery. Whoops. I made a wrong turn. I got to turn after the gate. So we just talked to the second elder, and that's 2 of 3 down.
You have earned the favor of the first elder.
And this last one is the most straightforward. Just basically find the lever, find 5 Umber Hulks, come
The
back to
Scar
him.
Elder refuses to help unless you first complete the warrior's trial. Apparently, it starts in the cavern to the west.
Yeah, no, this is. Oh, I see what's probably. Let's see. No, my Hireling's using a blunt weapon. So I wonder. All right. Yeah, I'm getting fragments even with blunt. So that's strange. I'll have to look that one up. I've always sort of thought that if you beat these puddings with the blunt weapons, that they don't split.
The ground rumbles, and an underhole bursts through the cave floor.
I'm gonna check the combat damage and just see if I'm making a save against the Umber Hulk's attempt to stun me, or if it's just not trying to stun me. Unfortunately, oh, here it is. You hit invading. So I'm not seeing any sign that it's stunning me. So it could be that it only stuns on higher difficulties, because that's really the thing that makes these enemies dangerous, is the stuns. So the damage himself isn't too bad, but when you're stunned, you're taking 50% more damage because you're stunned. So when you're stunned, you're considered helpless. When you're tripped, you're not helpless. But when you're stunned or held, you're helpless. And so, those type of things you just sort of learn by playing the game and through discovery, kind of on the forums, DDO wiki, etc. But basically, stuns and holds will make you helpless, and there'll be 50% more damage. And so that's where that one enhancement that I'm looking to take next level, Instinctive Defense, you take less damage when helpless. So that'll help against stuns, that'll help against holds, so that we'll be less likely to die in those situations.
You get an uneasy feeling as you pass this area.
And here's the lever, so we want to make sure we don't forget that.
The lever is pulled, and the gate blocking the temple entrance opens.
So now we just need the remaining 3 Umber Hulks, and we're done with this part. And then the guard, that's where the fire
and humidity
fire drow are.
Making the air thick and stuffy.
Pretty nice range on that. Pretty nice range on the greatsword there. I got all 4 of those with 1 cleave, 1 holy retribution. Yeah,
An Umber Hulk erupts from the wall and attacks.
So when switching between styles, it can be sometimes a little difficult to make the adjustments. So their iron was knocked down, but I didn't see any stuns again. So they can knock us down and stun us. There we go. So if you use 2-weapon fighting, you have a very short hitbox. Like basically, you have to be kind of right on top of the enemy to hit them. Whereas when you're using 2-handed fighting, you have a much bigger hitbox. So we just have 1 more Umber Hulk, so that'd be nice if we get him early. Normally I get the last Umber Hulk about the time I'm kind of finishing up the whole cave. In that kind of last section where that salamander was in the normal run.
scratching, snapping sound echoes around.
There's the stun I was looking for. Confusing gaze. Wasn't too bad, but that's the attack I was expecting from the Armor Hulk, and that's the first time. So I don't know if some of the other times it did the attack and I made my save. I'll have to look that one up. Normally stuns go off of a Fortitude save, and our Fortitude save should be pretty decent. Let me check. 35, yeah, so it's actually even better than a reflex save. It's pretty good for the level. 35 is really good for the level. So that's a good reflex or a good Fortitude save. So it could be that the Ember Hulk was trying to attack me but failed. Let me check and see what I rolled on the failed save, so I have an idea of how effective their CC is. Confusing gaze, okay. It's sometimes a little tricky to go through and see this. You have been stunned, so you attempt to save versus confusing gaze. You roll a 1, save failure. So, I'd have to guess there that I'm making my save on hard except for a 1, so that gives me a lot of confidence, going into. I'm sure that they used this attack on me other times, and I made my save. Even the last one where I checked the combat log, I didn't see the entire combat. I only saw the end of it. So they probably did attempt it on me. All right. So before I forget, I'm going to have the hireling give me some spell points. And my holy sword wore off, so I'm going to bring that back. And I don't know if this guy dispels, but I'll give myself fire. And greater heroism, I guess. Alright, so that should be good to get me through the fight. The hireling was pretty distracted in there, so I wasn't getting much healing from the hireling, but I was able to heal myself fine. So yeah, in Elite, I want to make sure I have my shield clickies on. It's not too bad on hard, but that's going to be pretty... Magic Missile's getting to be where it's not quite as bad at this level as it was at lower levels, but still, it's a lot of damage. So I'm going to, on Elite, want to make sure that I have my shield clicky on whenever I'm facing those. There shouldn't be any Magic Missiles in this part. Alright, so we're going to... Same as before, we're going to try to get... Alright, so everything's cleared. So first priority is always going to be to clear trash. And so as soon as this guy's done, we get the message, get behind a pillar right away. Alright, and then find the eyes, hateful stairs, and get them. This is a really good spot, this corner right here.
A barrier of solid light engulfing, shielding it from
This is important because I can't heal. Alright. So you can kind of duck behind the hireling. He's on the hireling now, so I bring the hireling over here. My hireling's dancing. Alright. I better give my hireling a heal. Use these pillars. It's like the only defense you have in here. And I've got stat damage, so I'm going to clear that right away with my remove disease. And I think I've got them all now. I don't see any more. Oh, there's one hateful eye. You can see they do a lot of damage. My hirelings took a lot of damage from that. All right, same thing. It's good that we're by the pillar, because as soon as we get to the next spot, which is about here, we're going to hide behind the pillar. Hateful Stare. Let's get this thing right away. Let's get all these eyes. The eyes are the things that do the most damage in here. Secondly, the Beholder. Poison. Get the poison thing. There's another eye over there. And you can see it's doing pretty good damage, like force damage. It's going to be worse on Elite. And again, I'm a big believer in just clearing this trash as we go. Some people take a different approach. I'm going to give my hireling a heal since my hireling's being held. Alright, now it's all on the boss, and hopefully I'll get the boss's aggro so that he's not on my hireling. That's it. So that'll be the same strategy on Elite. Everything will be hitting a little bit harder, but I think it's going to be fine.
For the madness of crowds that afflicts Stormwatch. You have retrieved the vial of the Vulkur's gift venom for House Jarasco.
Alright, so I'm going to recall out and get my end reward, and that's the last quest. I still have more 14s to do, but I've kind of maxed out my XP, and the Reaper I can get is pretty low, so it's really not worth it. I'm kind of more interested in getting to 20 and getting some XP, epic XP. So I'm going to claim this prize. Nothing too interesting that I would use. I'm just going to grab something to break down for essences, and that is toxic treatment on normal and hard.